We've been waiting for 2 weeks to see this team come home and play in front of their fans, in front of the home crowd, in their stadium, and now the wait is finally over. But I gotta say this, unfortunately, if you want to watch this home opening game with this red and gold CERN team on a Thursday on a very short week, then you gotta pay the big bucks, man. You gotta pay the Jeff Bezos money, pal. You gotta pay up, bitches, because this week 3 49ers Thursday night game is right behind that $15.99 a month paywall, and you're gonna have to pony up, pal, to see this game that's only on Amazon Prime Video. Oh, yes, that's right. The 49ers are getting that Amazon Prime treatment that's locked behind a paywall as they take on the New York Giants on a very short week. And I gotta say, the Niners are coming in 2-0, and they've been tested this past week. And, going into the first week, also coming in with questions. But nonetheless, this is a Niners team that seems like people are crowning already Super Bowl favorites, but let's pump the brakes a bit. We take it week by week. Every week is different. And coming into a very short week against a Giants team that, bounced back, there are some questions that had to be had on both teams. So let's take a look at the week that was for both of these teams going in. For the Giants, they were coming off a very terrible, what can you even say about this Giants team after week 1? Getting their butts whooped on national television in prime time on the eve of 9/11, mind you. They were mollywopped, shut out by the Dallas Cowboys, drenched, literally, 40-0, and then they turn it around. Actually, before that, they were staring down once again at another big deficit to the Arizona Cardinals, mind you, who were supposed to be tanking. They're supposed to be bringing out the tanks in the desert. But then the Giants stormed back in the fourth quarter thanks to their quarterback Daniel Jones and their running back Saquon Barkley. They have a big fourth quarter, and then they come back to beat the Cardinals 31-28. Okay, bring out the comeback train, I guess. Meanwhile, for my 49ers, they were coming off a blowout win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. And going into that week 2 game against the LA Rams, it was a very important one because it would be a very early test for Brock Purdy and that whole Niners team, because for that game, it was the Rams also who were coming off a blowout win against the division rival Seahawks. However, they had the division lead early because, it was a NFC West matchup, and this is kind of a pseudo very early battle for first place. So this game against the Rams, it looked poised to be a shootout. They couldn't figure out how to stop the Rams' rookie receivers. But in around the halftime, they made some adjustments, and the defense said, okay, we've had enough of the bull crap. And that happened in the first half. And slowly but surely in the third quarter, they put it together, put some heat on defense, got some interceptions on Matthew Stafford, and slowly but surely ran away with an early and important 30-23 win. It seemed like, it could have been more, but the Rams, they decided to cover the spread. They decided to make Vegas happy for whatever damn reason. But anyway, the Niners are entering 2-0. The Giants are entering 1-1. So, kind of a big, I say, Thursday matchup as we enter week 3, as we kick off week 3 of the NFL season. So going to this game, there isn't really a lot to say in terms of the injury report, because as with these Thursday games, these teams tend to go through walkthroughs, give estimated reports, and you can't really give a guise on how these guys are feeling, other than a few other on a few key players. But for the most part, these players are just basically going through very minimal. I don't even say minimal. I take that back. But you can't really get a guise of how exactly these guys are practicing during a very short week, at least into the eyes of a casual fan. For the Giants, though, they're probably likely going to be without one of their key players, and that is, of course, Saquon Barkley. He left the Arizona game very late with a right ankle sprain, and there were initial reports that were saying that he was going to miss this game and the next few games. at least 2 to 3 weeks with that right ankle sprain. But then Brian Daboll comes out on Tuesday at the time of this recording that he wasn't exactly ready to rule him out. So he's going to be a game time decision. Like, okay, you sure you want to risk your running back like that? You know, the top producer in your offense other than Daniel Jones. Okay, just be careful what you wish for. Remember just Saquon Barkley's injury history. So just be careful there. Meanwhile, for the 49ers, I mean, they're coming in, you know, mostly healthy, but they could be without receiver Brandon Ayuk on Thursday, but maybe for precautionary reason, because he played through the Rams game with a shoulder injury, but there were reports saying that there is no structural damage, which is good news for them, but they may want to hold him. They may want to hold him out just for the long run. So the estimated reports saying he was limited in practice. There were also like the beat writer saying that he was going to be limited in practice. So it sounds like Kyle Shanahan is going to say that it's going to be a game time decision. It's how he feels. So we'll see what the final report says, how we get closer to game time. And then corner Ambry Thomas did suffer a knee injury in that Rams game as well, but he was also limited in practice. So we will see how both of these guys suit up for Thursday's game against the Giants in the first home game of the season. So something to keep track of going into this game is, you know, the Niners fan base. There was a lot of talk of the town in regards to these would-be touchdowns from Brock Purdy on Sunday if he weren't overthrowing the ball, if he didn't overthrow it to Debo and Ayuk. People were very quick to react to that, and certainly I pointed that out in my recap. I wasn't too critical of it because, you know, it happens. These are things that he didn't really do all that much in his 8-game span last year. But people were really quick to highlight how his overthrows to Debo and Ayuk that could have led to points. And they were saying, oh, he's not as good as people think. This is going to cost him dearly. Like, how do we know that yet? Like, how do we really know this, people? I mean, if he continues to do this, if he continues to overthrow his receivers, then surely, especially in the deep ball, then yeah, we could criticize him for that. But until he does, like, and the more he does it, the more games he plays, I mean, surely, the more experience he's gonna have in trying out the deep ball. He's gonna get more practice in doing the deep ball. So until he doesn't like actually fix this mistake, and keeps doing it, and he keeps overthrowing it, then I'd say then let's pump the brakes. Let's pump the brakes on that glaring flaw for right now. So chill, guys. Just chill. So some players to watch for this game, for this Thursday night matchup. Obviously, the one guy is Daniel Jones, especially considering that if Saquon Barkley can't go, then the main focal point of this offense is going to be the quarterback, Daniel Jones. I will say with Daniel Jones, he has done a better job at protecting the football in recent times compared to when he first started out with, you know, Danny Pennies donating to other opposing defenses, and a large chunk of that has to do with his head coach Brian Daboll telling him, "Hey, you got to protect this football, man." And by doing the way he does it mostly is making positive plays with his legs. It's just that in these last couple of games, in these last 2 games, it's just his supporting cast, you know, couldn't really help him out, getting him and his team off to a better start much earlier rather than them being such a big hole much early on and then having to play catch up later on. So expect Daniel Jones to try and take over this game if Saquon doesn't, and I expect him not to, be in this game. And then I expect Deebo Samuel, if San Francisco elects to have Brandon Ayuk take a rest week, to be a major focal point in this offense. And I expect Brock Purdy to go to Deebo Samuel even more, and maybe even throw in George Kittle and the rookie Ronnie Bell and get them more targets even more. So looking at your keys to victory for both of these teams going into this week 3 matchup, for the New York Giants, I would attack the secondary of the 49ers like very often. Especially the cornerback spot, it remains the biggest weakness. I know the Niners did sign corner Anthony Brown, formerly of the Dallas Cowboys. But yeah, that corner spot is still pretty suspect. Diamoji Lenore, yeah, he had his moments, getting the interception that pretty much essentially sealed the game against the Rams. And then at nickel corner, Isaiah Oliver had some pretty nice moments there, but this secondary still remains a work in progress, but it still remains the biggest weakness as such. So Daniel Jones should attack that weakness by targeting his receivers, Jalen Hyatt, Darius Slayton, and then running the football with it and making those plays with his legs. And then, secondly, on defense, you have to find a way to make Brock Purdy uncomfortable. The offensive line, it had a good outing against the LA Rams, and it pretty much shut down Aaron Donald once again. But, they still have their own issues to polish up. So look for Dexter Lawrence and Kayvon Thibodeau, who, by the way, hasn't really shown up that much yet. Look for those two to try to be dialing up something on Brock Purdy. Meanwhile, for my 49ers, you got to pick apart just about every part of this defense. The last 2 weeks saw Tony Pollard for the Cowboys and James Conner of the Cardinals burst through the Giants' run defense. I expect Christian McCaffrey to try and bolster through this Giants' weak run defense so far. But hopefully, I also see Kyle Shanahan try to mix in the other running backs too, just to give McCaffrey a break because, dude, he played a large majority of those snaps on Sunday against the Rams. So, come on, Kyle. Give your running backs, your other running backs, some help. Here. Give Christian McCaffrey some assists. Like, come on, man. Give him a breather too. So, in the air, Brock Purdy in the offense really needs to take advantage of these leaky holes in the Giants, secondary. I mean, if Josh Dobbs can even take advantage of it early on, then so can Brock Purdy. And then on defense, you gotta protect the areas where Daniel Jones can scramble because the Giants really love to do this a lot. And again, as I said, they're gonna do this very often if Saquon Barkley can't play. So you gotta like pretty much cover every single facet that Daniel Jones is gonna run with that football. And then my bonus point is that you can't let up any lead that you have. I mean, if week 2 is any indication with Arizona, I mean, yes, the Niners are not Arizona, but as anything goes here, no lead is safe in any sport, and that includes the NFL. So the Giants will find some way to try and claw back, especially if the Niners sleep on the wheel. So the Niners have to find a way to keep advancing the ball, keep scoring, don't get conservative, and keep the Giants away from getting back in the game. So, yeah, it's all about, scoring, stopping Daniel Jones from scrambling with the football, and just pretty much picking apart that Giants defense. So, yeah, I think the Niners will find a way to win this game. Just don't fall into the trap in your first home game of the season, and I think they'll be fine. So what do you think about this Niners upcoming Thursday night game? It's only on Prime Video that you have to pay the big Jeff Bezos money for if you want to watch this game, even if you're in the Bay Area. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this upcoming game in the comments below, and give me your thoughts, your pick for this game in the comments as well. So anyway, this is Dylan Lasagna of Very Cold Lasagna, and keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of sports. And until next time, peace out.